I think it probably is more important for an artist to understand the business because maybe they can help us to understand it since it's become really hard for us supposed experts to understand it. Clearly, it's a time when, rules are changing and, what people want seems to be changing and how they want to get it seems to be changing. So I think, for an artist to help, control their own destiny, it's probably important for them to know something about, as much as possible about the same issues that everybody's grappling with. Whether it's is the album going to remain, the form in which people, want to, invest in music? Is, what are people going to be listening to music on? It's one thing I realize is that, when I was younger, people who were really into music, there was an extremely high premium on, the quality of your equipment. It's like people who were really into music were, they wanted to have high-end stuff and they knew all about, you'd have some people who got in a way that I couldn't even begin to fathom into, the niceties of sound quality. I think now it's like, more and more you're going to have, people listening to their music, on cell phones, through computers, which may or may not be hooked up to an external sound system or external speakers. In other words, I think that everything's kind of up for grabs right now, and to the extent that an artist is not just making music for themselves, but for an audience, I think it's very important that they try to understand what's going on. I have ideas about the album versus songs. I think that, and certainly my ideas are just kind of my conjecture at this moment. I don't have any, I don't think, any special knowledge or insight. But my feeling is that certainly people are becoming less attached to the idea of an album. A friend of mine was telling me yesterday that his daughter, he had to kind of sit his daughter down and show his daughter how to burn, songs from CDs that they already owned, that the family owned, onto the computer, because she was spending, $150 a month downloading individual songs, from iTunes at 99 cents a pop. And he was like, a lot of these songs we already have. It's just, she's so into that mode and so easy to just keep going back to iTunes and buying what she wants. Well, she's buying individual songs. She's not buying albums. I think that, some artists have started to, take the approach that, they're going into the studio regularly. They might come out with, 2 or 3 songs at any given time. Immediately post out those songs or make those songs available, to stream or make them available to buy. I think that my guess is that the album will probably change or not become the key thing, just because I think people will start wanting to get music from the artists they're into in real time. You know what I mean? As the music is created. That seems to be the way that we're going with technology, is to kind of compress, the space and time between, creation and delivery to the consumer, and I think that, You know, the idea of making an album and getting it finished and then waiting months and all of that, it seems to me like that's got to become obsolete at some point in time. And I think it's exciting to think that, as much as I love the album, and part of me hopes that doesn't happen, because the best albums, which were actually a body of work, something that was a coherent whole, those are the most important musical things in my life, were those albums that I loved and related to, more so than the individual songs or the hit songs on those albums. Although I love hit songs. I just think it's exciting that people will be able to have that kind of more immediate relationship with the artists and the music. The selling of super high quality CDs of live shows, that you can buy right after the experience of being at the show. All those kinds of things are exciting, and maybe that is what the future is supposed to be. Is just we seem to be moving, again, I think if there's a trend that I see overall in media and entertainment, it's that we're moving to a world of customized, on-demand, consumerism. We want to be able to decide what we want and get it when we want. And that's, I think, the way. I know when I was a kid, I always dreamed of having my own radio station. That was my thing. It's like, if I could, when I was old enough to be thinking about driving in a car, I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could somehow, go on an intercom, to my own radio station and say, hey, I'm driving, I feel like hearing these 5 songs now. Well, now you can do that. So I tend to think that's the way we're going.